Avocados and gravy. I don't know what to think about that. Fish fingers and custard? That sounds really gross. Hey, listen, friends. It's ThursdAGE. And today, well, happy ThursdAGE to you. Nice. Well, I do hope that you are starting your day with us because that's a great way to do it. And I'm presuming everyone can hear me nicely. I'm not muffled and garbled. Tempo, you know it. Tempo says a wizard is never late. He only arrives when he means to. Yeah, that's right. The best part of waking up is a little ThursdAGE in your cup. Be Scottish, fry something. Oh, thank you. Oh, I see. You were talking about food, not necessarily me. And this would be really maybe more of a brunch. Dinner. Thank you, Duke. Good. I'm glad. Yes, sultry. That's what I really do work to sound sultry. Today is a right. Yeah, Shadowcat says only a Time Lord would approve of fish fingers and custard. I need to catch up on all that Doctor Who-ery. One of my favorite shows, actually. So is just a wee lad. Just a wee mist of a kid. Troy on toast. Wow. Yeah, I don't know how good that would taste or look, but it would certainly be eventful and memorable, I think, is another way to describe it. So what is office hours? Here's the deal. There's so much going on. There's so many things to do. And, much like for folks who are fans of Mutants and Masterminds on M&M, it's a kind of unofficial policy that we want to get things done during the program that help, move the program forward. For instance, the planning episode. So in that same vein, I thought, you know what? Today's going to be about office hours. It's going to be about taking a look at stuff, looking at my to-do toasted troist. It is dangerously close to tryst. But then, and I thought, what a better way to explore the things that need to happen than with the people who come in and hang out and listen to me drone on that have a personal vested interest in seeing age stuff and, being sort of boosters of the adventure game engine. Remind me of things that I may have forgotten or share things that, ideas that you got. Ask some questions. Every once in a while I come across an issue, whether it's, I don't know, a category within our atomic think tank that's weird. And then when I see it through the eyes of the community, I'm like, what in the world were we even thinking? That's not right at all. And shift and adjust it. And so, in a world where we're all working together to get things done, I'll be frank, the community has better ideas than I do. Certainly better naming conventions. So it's really an exciting opportunity for me to just make sure that I'm on target. And there's, of course, things that you can't know and stuff that I have to do in a certain way. But more often than not, there are about 1 million different ways for us to leverage collaboration, concepts, and ideas, and come up with some new ones. I thought I would open with some thoughts on things that I want to do that just, I'm throwing it out into the world. I'm manifesting is what I'm doing. I'm manifesting right now. And better than beans on Troy. Yeah. Beans on Troy, not so good. I'm here to tell you. With that, beans are hot, right? Isn't that a hot dish, generally speaking? Shadowcat asks, so what did Ian think about a spy for The Expanse? We're gonna leave that door ajar for Ian to walk through. So he won't be walking through it today. But Ian just finished a big move, and of course, doing all of his creatively duties, working on Transport Union Edition. And so I'm imagining that the concept, while great, didn't necessarily take root. So he may have an opinion about it that changes a bit when he's had time to breathe. Moving is just a nightmare. It's the worst. I hate it. One end for a spy involves being subsumed by a proto. Interesting. Let's manifest an Ian. Yes, let's all manifest an Ian. We will manifest him, as a matter of fact, and invite him to come and just do a quick Transport Union Edition update. Kind of let people know where things sit. I happen to know, but I'm not going to let you know. I'm going to keep it a secret. Let Ian be the guy. So, something that I really want to do. Moving is the worst. Moving with 2 dogs and, just stuff. And if you listen, the TTRPG space is filled with collectibles. And some of them are heavy. Some of them are full volumes of, tomes that you've got to lug around with you for the rest of your life. And you love doing it. I mean, you want to have them, but you just don't want to have to move them all at one time. It's a real nightmare. And, as many of you know, my background, I was working in video games for some 20 years. And wow, the crap you get. One thing that the TTRPG industry doesn't have that the video game industry does is lots of t-shirts. Or they don't have lots of t-shirts. The video game industry gives you a t-shirt for everything. And I've got a collection of t-shirts that I call the T-shirts of Broken Dreams. All games that have been canceled or, shelved or what have you, in various states of didn't quite make it. And I always wonder what I'm going to do with that. And I thought, there's people that make blankets out of them. Yes, I saw that, Swanmay. I have some, I'm adding that to my to-do list. So Swanmay shares with me that there's a Frog Princess for, it is, what do we say? It's from the True 20 Blue Rose edition. I know, right? Swanmay, that's so depressing. And so a friend was like, oh yeah, I can make a blanket out of it. And I thought, why do I want a blanket of broken dreams? Like, some of the studios, I have very fond memories and still, some of my best friends I met while working there. While, all that being said, I don't know, I want a blanket of misery. So I don't know what to do with them. So that is all to say that if, having to move with all that crap is a real, and I happen to be very sentimental. And so I have, all kinds of weird things that I've been given from folks. One day I walked into the office and there was a box with my name on it. And I said, oh, weird. What's this? And they said, it's for you. We don't know. And I opened it up and it was a bobblehead of myself that you pushed a button and it said, here's Troy Hewitt. It was real weird. Yeah, Stormer mentions that Blanket of Broken Dreams would be a great band name. I agree. I think that we should start that band. We should also start the discussion. I want to talk a little bit about, speaking of dreams that have yet to be broken. One thing that I think is kind of remarkable about the TTRPG space, and I've talked about it in the past, there's a blurring of the lines between what it means to be a professional developer and what it means to be a community developer or somebody who's, creating, because the content is on par and in some cases great. It's maybe even more enjoyable or better when you look across the board. TTRPG developers at times are held to a certain sort of set of things that they can't do, and the community really doesn't pay attention to that. If you're participating in a community content program, like our very own Age Creators Alliance, then you you know that there's some strictures and some kind of boundaries and things, but the community is, allowed to sort of to kind of take the elements, the toolbox, if you will, of the adventure game engine and create something all new. And I see several people in chat that know exactly what I'm talking about because I've seen your stuff. That is to say that there are people within the community that are really experts at doing certain stuff. Unprecedented, really, sort of in the space. You've got people who would consider themselves maybe amateur developers, or they're kind of doing a little fun hobby thing. But the work that you do is so top notch that anybody would do well to sit and talk with you for a while. And so I'm thinking, that's a good point, Tempo. Yeah. I'm thinking that maybe what we do is let's pick a weekend in the coming months and do a series of workshops, live video workshops that we encourage folks to come, and we work with the community. Like, for instance, I get you. Ren says, sorry, I'm not posting anything to the ACA or the think tank for a while. Got a career as a professional GM off the ground and some family changes on the way. Well, that sounds exciting. I'd love to hear more about your professional GM gig, because it dovetails perfectly with what I'm saying. I want to work with our community leaders, our community activity folks that are doing things and have some experience, to look to join me for a weekend of seminars and I don't know what we'll call it. Workshops, exactly. And like, for instance, I would go to Lovelinator and I would say, hey, what do you think about doing a workshop on managing a modern TTRPG community via social media, and talking to people about why you like it, and the pitfalls and the things that you've experienced. Having had opportunities to chat with you for some time, and for those who aren't in the know, Lovelinator is why he's the doctor. He's the doctor of the Expanse community, I would say. He's always checking its temperature. He's always, making sure that it's, healthy, turning all the wheels and the dials, and, inoculating it against nonsense, and doing a phenomenal job, really kind of keeping things nice and even keeled, which creates a great platform and community to weekend workshops. Sure. I mean, honestly, that's what I would call it, weekend workshops. And it just doesn't, it's great, but I feel like it deserves something more. I don't know why. Because that's what I end up doing, Swanman. I'm just like, here's this blop. It's just the words for what it is. Or it does have the extra bonus of being having alliteration. Bubbles in the think tank? Oh, gosh. I like that. That's true. Yeah, distributing vitamins every now and again. And honestly, I would come to see that, because I think that there are some discussions to be had about how we are managing communities and, all of the things. Yeah, turning cough, exactly. Not that kind of doctor. Or maybe, I don't know. I'm not here to judge what you do in your free time. But I will, and I do, even though that's not my job. I do it for free. So think about that. And honestly, I'm looking into chat and I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and a half topics that people could lead. Just because of what you do as people, the work that you put into things, and tempo. I'm just throwing this out there. I'm just we're brainstorming. We're talking about possibilities, the look into the future of what could potentially be fun community activities. But what is what do you think about the notion of holding developers accountable, or keeping them or engaging with them on topics that you think are important and crucial? You do such a great job of of asking the right questions. And you know, one of the things I love, and I actually have grown to depend on this a little bit, because we go into the weeds, and sometimes it's all my fault. Tempo will come up at just the perfect moment and say, well, so about that thing that's related to the topic and not this other thing that you've wandered down, and everyone's laughing and, not necessarily focused. It's fantastic. I really do weekend work fun. Why the W's, you think? WW. You hope your cat isn't in the think tank. But there's something to be said about, the diplomatic way to engage with developers so that you get what you need without lighting yourself on fire. That's great. That's a pretty rad strategy to try to impart to the world, because, you know our lives, and many of you have been fans of Green Running for decades, and there is a certain amount of chaos that happens behind the scenes and not so behind the scenes, but opportunities for things to go off the rails abound. Whether it's external forces, like, here we are, the schedule's great, we're right on top of it, and then suddenly paper pulp isn't available, so we have to wait for a printer to figure that out, or all that chaos happens. It can be difficult, and it's not your job to track that. We just got to suck it up and, do the thing. And sometimes we can't tell you why something's late because it has to do with, a personal issue, or or we don't know, and we're trying to find out ourselves. There's no better skill than how to maneuver that to get the information that you need while still letting people have fun and recognizing that developers are just people with deadlines, really creative people. That's a skill. Yes, yeah, the meanderings are a great aspect of ThursdAGE. And then also I would like to think that the meanderings are really more of a traveling the rabbit holes as created by the community. Oftentimes you folks are responsible for taking me down a rabbit hole, and sometimes it's great, and other times maybe not so great. But either way. So I want to do some weekend workshops, wonderful weekend workshops. And we'll think of a name later. But so think of this as a call for participation. If you've got something that you want to share, maybe you are doing some Age Creators Alliance stuff and you're publishing some things and you want to share your experiences there in a way that benefits the community at large. Maybe you've been working really hard on some, homebrew stuff. And maybe you don't want to necessarily be on camera. Maybe you want to do it in a different way. I think that there's a lot of different ways to set people up for success and to give more exposure to the great good things that are happening. It doesn't have to be a workshop, but it could be. And it also could be a workshop that's run by somebody who is, supporting the effort. It doesn't have to be maybe, the person in charge of it. And I say in charge because, listen, let's not fool ourselves. Swan May's making that happen over there. And there's a lot of people supporting and helping for sure. Absolutely. I don't want to diminish their stuff, but, but yeah. And also I think it's a great way to maybe for groups that are, let's say in the case of homebrew stuff, if you've got all the people who are leaders in that kind of space and you plan a little, this is what we're doing and how we're going to do it. And, make sure that you've got, all the ducks in a row, and then you do just a 30-minute, here's what's up. That's great. And these don't have to be hour-long workshops, but you could do, maybe you do a writer's workshop that's 90 minutes long. Maybe you do a two-parter. Q&A, that's a great way to do it, of course. Let's see. It's like, oh gods, I have a level 20 game this weekend. Going to fight several demigods, one after another, releasing pieces of larger beings so they can be individually imprisoned. Campaign is winding down. That sounds. So you are fighting several demigods, releasing pieces of a larger being, sort of like bits and pieces. Hey, Paul, good to see you, friend. Hippo HQ in the house. Speak of the devil, another person who's really keen on the homebrew stuff. Ooh, I love this. Okay, yeah, here's what I'm talking about. This is the kind of stuff. Gather some thoughts in an essay about running age at higher levels. Yes, yes, please, yes. Also, how about some introductory? Sorry, Swami says, "Hey, Paul." Of course, we're talking about this Paul right here from Hippo HQ. What was I saying? Something really good. Oh, introductory, like how do I age? How does one age? What does the adventure game engine run on, and why is it a good mechanism for people to enjoy their TTRPGs? Yeah. Okay. Great. I mean, consider. So yeah, I have some hard-won experience with this, and could share some insights I have learned. Yeah. I mean, that's what it's all about. Automatically, I'm sold. Absolutely, I'm sold. The other thing I really love is, speaking of Paul, Paul's got that accent, so that's always kind of fun to listen to. But Paul's really he approaches his GM stuff in a very interesting, very fun, very productive way. But it would be great to even have a panel of GMs talking about what they've done, how they've utilized the adventure game engine, and the various facets of, whether it's, putting some Cthulhu Awakens in your Fantasy Age, or some Blue Rose in your Cthulhu Awakens, or what have you. Oftentimes, we can say, yeah, the adventure game engine is a toolbox for you to take and use and to borrow pieces from across anywhere. We don't care. We're not going to say, don't you use that in conjunction with whatever else. On the contrary. We encourage it. So what does that mean, though, really? And I think the more we talk about all of that stuff, the better. I'll tell you what, Shadowcat, when I say, how do you age? You age each year and grow older. I was just talking to a friend about this morning. A couple things I have issue. I'm taking issue. Umbrage. I'm offended and just mildly angry. Not so angry that I, have to take a nap, but nobody told you about things like, why there are suddenly you wake up and you've got, 43-foot long hairs coming out of your ear. Like, what the heck is that about? No, thank you. Also, they didn't say anything about gravity hurting. So anyway, enough of that. Age Blender would be a great topic. What's Age Blender, Stormer? Am I missing a thing here? Ooh, look at this. Paul's talking about, I'm in the process of making a digital GM who will explain how to age and why you should play. What? That's interesting. Yeah, we'll have to talk about that. Yeah, Nate, absolutely. Okay, so that's what the Age Blender would be, just sort of, the other thing I thought would be kind of funny. I know, right, David? I mean, what is going on? What is that? I had going down on my forehead. I was like, what is this? Yeah, anyway, sorry to speak to that topic. I'm sure it's an absolute barnstormer of a topic, and everyone's hanging out right at this point, waiting for more. But I'll have to disappoint you, because we're going to continue talking about the things we can do in the future. The other thing I'd love to see is, I would love to see an activity, and maybe this is the culmination of the event, where we bring up lots of people to, some of our tried and true folks, and within 90 minutes, we super fast build an adventure. Like, adhering to all of the things that we need to adhere to, but that we, there's a challenge, and that we work with the people in attendance, the chat, if you will, to give ideas and make a big mess for the adventure, the Age Creators Alliance folks and others to try to make sense of using story and dice. A future retrospective look. I'm not sure what that means, Nate. Yeah, I think it sounds fun too. It's that kind of idea. Looks like, so yeah, for instance, I have a pie in the sky idea. that I've been banking on for a long time. Okay, yeah, I would love to hear it. Duke talking about the modularity of age is always great. Also, how easy it is to tack on things in a way that feels agey. Yeah. And and so I'm thinking that we start to work on this now, and that we put something together that coincides with maybe just before the kids get out of school for summer. Gives us enough time to kind of explore, and then as we sort of look at the different panels and the different sort of pieces of the puzzle, and then we do a big promo thing where we highlight everybody that's a part of it, do a big kind of kudos thing that sort of shows what they've done in the community and all that good stuff. Adventure Team Assemble, Green Ronin Publishing, we're swapping Genshin Tales for Office Adventures. Okay, great. Let's power up our brains and face this head on. Let's do that, friend. I love it. Pathfinder Society runs adventures simply referred to as Pathfinder Society Specials. Yeah, we're talking about that kind of thing for us too. Something simple. We really are talking about just a kind of a slice that allows us to just sort of showcase the basics. I'll tell you, so speaking of things to do on the to-do list, one of the things that I'm working with, and I'm not necessarily asking for help, but if somebody, identifies a resource, but one of the things that I want to do is, I like that. Multiple groups take part in the same adventure, contributing to the overall success of the adventure. Okay, I like that. So sort of a tandem kind of thing. I like that. Yeah, for Fantasy Age. Okay, I'm with you on that. That sounds very fascinating. Hey, no worries. No worries, Jake Ray. Howdy. Sorry, I was streaming. Nate Robbins says, I want to bring Jade Empire to the Age system. Probably to the homebrew section. All right. We can talk about the similarities and the differences between the age settings, like how Dragon Age's mages are poorly compared, or who they fare poorly compared to Blue Rose's adepts, who are more liberated. That is, Tempo, you really are the resident lore guy. Oh, I see. Hello, everybody. Hello. Thanks for joining us. My name is Troy. I'm the disembodied guy. And what I do is talk about Green Ronin projects and things, working with the community. And, nice. Okay. This is fascinating. So I would love to hear more of your idea. When one episode that we could do is sort of updates on this and have have folks who are kind of planning some stuff and know that it's all kind of brainstormy and we're figuring it all out. But that'd be very interesting. I would love to see what the mechanism was. Like, how are those tables interacting and engaging with the larger mission or vision or goal or something? And just to say, pair something like that with a fundraiser for I don't know, maybe a legal fund for people in need in the United States or something. I don't know. So what is Blue Rose? Asked Shadowcat. And are you asking? Are you suggesting a topic for the? Because what we could do as well is, in addition to all the conversations that we want to have about just focusing on your skills and the things that you can bring to a panel or a workshop, is infomercials for our titles. And one of the things that I'm working on, I want to create a sort of so you want to age. Maybe not worded like that because it kind of sounds like I'm inviting you to grow elderly, which I am, and we all are, but I think we play the games to forget that part. And what I want to do is sort of this experience where it's a guided, step-by-step, interactive, that kind of takes you to the various parts of the store that shows you this is, this game works like this, and the technology is out there to do it, and I have a certain level of sort of social systems expertise to help kind of put that together. But it's one of those ideas that just kind of hangs there in the back of my mind because so many of the other ideas that I've got are on fire. So, oh, interesting. Okay, so the individual tables all have encounters as normal, often being given the option to choose which encounters they take on, and completing those encounters adds to a success counter. I like it. Sort of a 100 table Rube Goldberg. Is it Rube's Goldberg? You know what I'm talking about, the machines. A mousetrap. What's your best age? You're half a century this year. Nice, Shadowcat. That's right. Yes, exactly. Paul mentions he's a forever GM and therefore immortal, and you never age. And that's our gift. You know, and one thing that people don't realize is that the Invent Your Game engine, it comes with a promise that if you GM and you play our game, that you will live forever, or your money back upon the day of your passing. Just come and make sure you let us know if that didn't work out. You know, we will mobilize the team. But yeah, but the other thing too that I want to do is there is a certain amount of, you know those GM types. GMs are always walking around like they're, you know, a big shot, doing those finger guns all the time, pew pew, looking all like the cock of the walk. And people want a piece of that. They want to know how they can be a GM because you all make it look so cool. It reminds me of Top Gun, kind of. You all walking around in your, you know, fighter jet onesie, whatever that's called. Throwing your cocktails in the air. No, maybe that was cocktail. I don't know. You're doing stuff. And what's one of the pilots' name? Booger? Sweaty? What's his name? Stinky? Anyway, that's what you all remind me of, because you're so cool. And more people want to be cool, so we can, you know, have, I really do want there to be a, is there a painting of each GM in the next guide? Yes. Lots of shirtless volleyball. Yes. Yeah, that's a thing that we'll do. Next Gen Con. Flight suit. That's it. It's not a onesie. It's a flight suit. Just like action figures aren't dolls. Yeah, so I'm really hot on that idea, and I'm also really wanting to take a look at sort of a G-suit, a G-suit. I'm also wanting to look at, you know, using that opportunity for people to realize their specialties, their expertise, because everyone's got one. Everyone does. An opportunity to share with the world something that you know that helps you do what you do a little better, helping others do what they do a little better, and then an exchange of that kind of information. But I think that we can get away with doing some regular workshops in the think tank. Yes, a flight suit is an action onesie. Thank you, Staniel. And yeah, so I feel like you know, the other thing too is it would be interesting to have a discussion about some of the things that go on in the industry. How about pantless? I don't know. What do you think this is? ThursdAGE? You can't just host a show without any pants on. I'm not a heathen. I am a heathen. But the idea that you know, one of the things that, listen, I'm an organizer, and one of the things that I really love about what happens in the TTRPG space is because of that very thin wall between a developer and a player, a GM and a developer. You know, there's a lot. I mean, there's probably no one on earth that can really wrap their minds around the bits and pieces that the developer, like, kind of, you know, moments where you can see that that's a work in progress, or where you just go, yeah, that connects and I get it. And I know why they made that development decision and what the intention was behind that. And it helps you do better, tell better stories, all that good stuff. it is okay to be pantless when you're in the cheese hot tub. Yeah, honestly though, yeah, don't wear your pants in the cheese hot tub. But do wear something over your feet, please. It's not that kind of cheese. But the idea that imagine you were to get a bunch of opinionated, thoughtful folks together that are consumers to put to look at what's happening, the current state of things, and having a forum for people to say, here's what's frustrating, or here's something that, and that isn't to say that we want to beat up anybody, but we also wanted to talk about that there's a world where the TTRPG community can flex a little bit and talk about, things that they hope to see. And also maybe the Age GMs talk about the juxtaposition against the, D&D GMs. And why the D&D GMs should dabble and come hang out with the Age GMs, right? Tempo, you are just deep in the lore right now. I love it. Because it does sort of talk about, I won't read it just primarily because there's so many big words. I'm a simple mist. But you could put together the idea, yes, this is funny. If we do that, we need to have Malcolm there on camera so we can watch his creeping horror. I wouldn't be so sure that you would find creeping horror. I think what you would find is a co-conspirator, a collaborator, a comrade, if you will. And I think as evidenced by Malcolm's body of work, he does not mind coloring outside the lines. And frankly, listen, maybe it turns out to be a better image. Because that's another thing that's interesting. There's not a lot of, there are people who are creating new content every day, new stories and that kind of stuff. But innovation, help me out here, chat. Thinking in the TTRPG space, maybe Morkborg is a good example of some innovation. Some people, it's not their bag because they are a little bit, they're not punk rock enough to be zine lovers, which I think that appeals to. They want a little more something, but I sure like the look of it all. David Bullock, I am moderately familiar. Sure, have a little, hang a little sign, yeah. How many days since we've complained about D&D players who don't try other things? Yeah. But and here's what's interesting. The reality is, when it comes to this kind of stuff, sure, you're going to meet one or two people who are going to be like, I love, this is my first love and I'm going to stick to it. But the bottom line is, it's really incumbent upon us to make it entertaining enough. And I will say this, I've been doing online community management for nearly my entire career. Every career that I've had has had the title community in it. There's no community better suited than the adventure gaming community, and Mutants Masterminds for that mind. But you guys really know your stuff. You folks really know your stuff, and you are good at sharing it and making space for people who are new. Our powers combined, we could turn some folks and get them excited to, maybe what we do is a quarterly, so you've never played Age before, and we invite people who are brand new to the system, and they play an encounter, or they do a session 0, or something along those lines. That's fun. I like that idea. It is, I think, an expansion of the notion of what the freebooters are up to. You have no doubt, and if you haven't yet to, and you haven't heard this, we're looking for GMs for Gen Con. We've got lots of folks who are doing lots of stuff, but we could always use more. We're gonna kickstart that, not kickstart it. We're gonna, get that program rolling again. It'll be a little different. It won't be quite the, back in the day when we sort of used to, adorn you in solid gold and diamonds and, feed you only the best of caviars upon a palanquin that we then used to carry you about where you ran your games higher than the lowly gamers beneath you. Not this time. We're doing a little different. But it'll still be fun. But no palanquin. And I'm just not as strong as I used to be. H for Kingdom Hearts, yeah. Oh, Duke. You know, that would be fun. That would be super, super fun. You know, I would love... Here's something I would love to do. This is also on the to-do list. I want to plan a secret, but not, you know, exclusive, but not gathering at Gen Con, where we sit down and we talk about, you know... Yeah, Hippo talks about the how he would love to... Hippo is Paul. Hippo HQ. Would love to join Gen Con, but there's a bit of a water issue. Yeah, I mean, that's just a big body of water. And you're out there in Kiwiland. Got to get those NZ US shadow gates working. Yeah, we really do. We should get on that. We could Trebuchet. Yeah, we could do that. I mean, I think I worry about the landing. And, you know, I think you might be thinking, you know, yeah, if you get multiple pieces of a Duke landing in your front yard, you just entertain all of them. That's not the way it works. You need your Duke in one piece and not scattered about your yard like confetti. Precise German confetti, but you know. Yeah, okay, well, let's figure that out. Let's try to figure out a way to build a trebuchet that will have the velocity to get people over just enough to get you over the water, but not enough to you know, split you into many pieces on in your journey. Okay, so lots of great ideas. Yeah, me too, honestly. I don't need a trebuchet to spread my stuff all over the place. I'm always scattered. That sounded not right. I'm hoping to run online games for Gen Con. Since Gen Con does not support online games, I could set up signups through something like... Listen, I feel like sometimes you're reading my mind. Because I think that it doesn't matter if, you know, Gen Con doesn't do stuff. We still get to collaborate. We could do some fun stuff. And if you are somebody who maybe cannot, you know, maybe you're just stuck on an island out there in the middle of whatever ocean you're in, and maybe you run a game, maybe you run some kind of interesting panel, or maybe, I don't know, and maybe we do some sort of a giveaway of exclusive stuff that's only, you know, being released at Gen Con. I don't even know if that's happening, so don't quote me. Does Orc the role-playing game also have some OSR roots similar to Morkborg? I don't know. You know, so it's interesting. A lot of people talk about Orc. It's sort of not on my radar, but people really love it. I think I should be immersing myself in Orc because it sounds like it's a lot of fun. Oh, awesome. Listen, it's been a minute. Stan says, Troy, which, you know, it's sort of our version of the bat phone, where I have to run to a social media outlet and come on, why is it doing this to me? They have really gone out of their way to make Facebook just a clunky, junky pile of dookie. Let's see. Oh, yeah. Owen. Is that the Owen? The Owen Casey Stevens? Is that true? I've heard of him. But we should do something like that, and I would fully support it. I'd support it with all my heart and soul. Why did this stupid thing take me to business? Just take me to normal Facebook. I just want to go to regular Facebook. I don't want to buy an ad. I don't want to install a WhatsApp. I don't want to do any of that. Okay, here we are. Facebook is lost in the sauce. Okay, where are you at? Where'd you give that to me at? Is it in that place you put that one thing that one time? I'm not seeing it. Am I, did I miss the cue? Did you send it to me or did you send it to, Green Renine? Staniel? Another thing on my to-do list, I want to find some new music for the show. Hey, other news, exciting and new, is that Fantasy Grounds is, they've released a Blue Rose Adventures Guide and Flight of the Snow Pearl. And that's for you to head on over to Fantasy Grounds and, we're going to do some stuff. It's been too long. Got some collaborative plans in the works. Now, here's something that's kind of interesting. Is there some... Imagine you as a community member, a contributor to this community, somebody who's engaged and involved. Is there a topic or something that you hope that we would touch on or get into? There we go. Okay, I don't know why. Sorry that I don't know why it didn't allow me to. I love it. Let's take a look. How do we want to do this? Because we got the new... Do I have the background on? I do indeed. Now, for those of you who may not know this, Staniel, our very own Stan, is an accomplished artist. Who's really, truly, honestly, let's not kid ourselves. He's an industry luminary. The guy knows, he was in the original dungeon that Dungeons and Dragons published. He was the very first boss fight ever presented, and he takes his illustrative pen and he draws things like this. I want us to age together. That's so sweet. Hey, why have we had a wedding? An adventure game engine wedding? Why not, if we haven't? Thank you, Stan, for that. Stan, is your stuff still for sale? You've got the Damn It, Owen. Oh, you sent it to the wrong Troy. Okay. Is there another Troy? Listen, I started a Facebook group called Troy Hewitt's by Troy Hewitt, and I invited all the Troy Hewitts to it, and the only one that showed up is the English one that's an actor. My own cousin didn't show up. His name is Troy Hewitt. That's very sweet, isn't it? But I ran at least one wedding in age. Oh, okay, got you. Now, was that more of a fun... like a, sort of a role play wedding, or was it an actual, like, you are now adventure game engined? I do like it, but it is a little, I feel like it's a little discordant. It doesn't, the music does not quite elicit sort of calm listening. But then again, neither do I. So, maybe it's perfect. Yeah, Swami says every day. I understand the Luddites more. Computers are evil and they're going to get me. Yeah, pretty much. They are, and it's true. Nate says Gen Con ambassadors that take people on Zoom calls to the places that they want to go is like, huh? How interesting. Like an age tour guide? That's interesting. Is that true? What happens? Or you're talking about people who walk around the convention showing their Zoom calls what's happening on the... Why don't people do that? Why don't people do that? Have somebody kind of act as the avatar of your, wow. Interesting. I like that idea. I really do. Let's see, what else did I miss? If they land a Duke in my front yard, they better pick it up. I'm just saying, you land a Duke in my front yard, that's my Duke. I'm giving it back. Possession and 9/10 of the law or whatever. David Bullock says no, orc is largely pre-OSR, if that makes any sense for folks. Yeah, I do like that. Owen Casey Stevens. And maybe you didn't know this, but Owen Casey Stevens and I together put this little mess on the map, this little ThursdAGE mess. And boy, we had so much fun. I agree, Swan May. I like that. I really do. This is a fantastic idea that we just kind of do a quick jaunt through. We did for Blue Rose once, we had Joe, the lovely Joe Carricker, wonderful human being, fantastic storyteller, and just a delight in every regard. A finer human being and wonderful soul I've yet to meet. Well, I will say there are competing wonderful souls, but he's right there at the top. He is fantastic, and Duke mentions that we miss him dearly. We do indeed. He's still part of the family, of course. Once a Ronin, always a Ronin, as states in the contract when you sign your soul over to the Green Ronini. But I love this idea. Joe and I, we talked about what would summer look like in Blue Rose, and it was just such a fun way of like really illustrating the depth and breadth of the game world. We should do that. We should really do that. We should jaunt through every one of Green Ronin settings, and I think what's cool about that is that we can really curate it so that we can showcase Threefold and all of the other wonderfully evocative topics that we've got. Yeah, you can't ever beat the Ronin. You can't. Once that smell gets on you, you can't get it off. It's like hanging out with a skunk. Only you smell cool and smart. But let's see, what else? Here's something that I want to do, and I've kind of hinted at it. Here's two things I'll say in the remaining 5 minutes. One of the things that I want to do is I have such a pile of gratitude for so many different people in this space. And when I say I mean we as Green Ronin, wonderful people who have been there through thick and thin, people who have just every day with their inspiration and their talents and their good works help us keep the lights on, but also just are wonderful people that deserve some recognition. So I want to do the Green Roninis, an evening where we dress up and we give out awards, considerations for all the amazing things that people do, and we really call them out and say, and let the community understand the impact, because there's not often a space for people walking around tooting their own horn. Not always super fun, and doesn't always come off as authentic. Everybody wants to be important, but there's a time when folks like us should really take care and concern and really make sure that people understand how much they mean to the organization and what we do. And so I'm thinking about that. Hosted by Troy McClelland. Yeah, exactly. And we dress up as pasta. Yeah, ronini just sort of sound like a pasta, doesn't it? What are you eating tonight? Green roninis and weenies. So that's one thing. The other thing that I want to do is I'm a big fan of Dropout, both the activity and the broadcast group, or the little Brennan Lee Mulligan and all those people. There's what's his face, Sam, and I want to do the Green Rotini. Yeah, I want to do imagine a sort of Game Changer meets escape room meets adventure game engine lore, and we put together just kind of a fun, and we do it quarterly. It's really just, it's meant, same. Duke says, I love Brennan. Brennan doesn't know it yet, but he is my fourth husband. Garden Rotini is the thing already. Garden Rotini? Is that what's a Garden Rotini? Is that like a pasta salad with some veggies or something? I don't know. I'm starving now. Thank you, by the way. But I want to do that. I want to plan sort of a fun riddles and activities and something that is that we try to and then we put it together and we have some fun. It's a game show meets the adventure game engine. And then, of course, invite Brennan Lee Mulligan. And then, surprise, Stan is going to marry us. So, I think that's a good idea. I think we'll do that. But anyway, so think about it. If I've talked to a couple folks, people whom I think are uniquely suited to my style of ridiculousness, which is everyone in chat. If you've got a thought about how something like that might come together with the help or the collaboration of our community, you'll have to let me know. I've seen that. It's pasta where they replace some of the wheat dough with spinach. It's green. Look at that. We are at the top of the thank you, Mazel. Brennan will be thrilled. And honestly, I'm not gonna lie. If marrying Brennan gets me closer to his wife, she is a absolute genius. Her humor, her just the way that she does stuff is. I mean, are you folks watching? My other favorite is. What is their name? I'm gonna do some Google searching here live. Welcome to the Green Rotini. They run. They do Very Important People on Dropout. Is it Venmo? No. Why am I forgetting their name? I love them so dearly. They are so funny. But there's an episode where Brendan's wife was on, and she was playing pageant. It's hilarious. Absolutely. I mean, yeah. I hate to even try to equivocate because they're all just amazing. Anyway, so think about that, my friends, while I ponder different ways to get the adventure game engine in Brendan Lee Mulligan's hands. Not for any reason, nefarious or self-serving, but, I think that, maybe he runs a game. And Vic, it's Vic. Vic is who I'm thinking of. So funny. They are all great. And what I love is when you see them kind of doing their ensemble thing, it is so funny. I don't think it's Vic Michaels. Is it Vic Michaels? I don't know. Is that a person who's bad? I thought it was like Michaela or something like that. Anyway, listen. It's 2 minutes after the hour. What are you people keeping me here? I've got a whole day's worth of work to do. Especially now after this chat, where I've shared with you all of the hopes and dreams, and now we're going to manifest them. That'll mean lots of fun for us. Speaking of which, oh, there you are. Hey, Stormer. Well, I wanted to stick around. I knew you were going to be back, so we didn't want to leave you and have you walk back in and have everybody be gone. But think about this. Wednesdays in the Atomic Think Tank, which you can reach by visiting atomicthinktank.com, we do office hours. That's where I hang out, and we talk about a lot of different stuff. Now, I don't know that if it were a real office, I think all of us would be fired for not doing our job. But in this very case, that is the job, is to hang out and talk about stuff. And maybe if you are interested, let's have a manifest meeting this next week, Wednesday, 4 p.m. Pacific. And we just hang out there. It's just a couple hours, says Troy. And then, 4 hours later, he's like, why am I still here? But we have a lot of fun. I am going to manifest, but I'm going to do that, Duke. So come and hang out. Go to atomicthinktank.com. You'll see the event. It is, why am I not showing it to you? We have the technology. Here we go. And, let's see, I think I put it under events. Get tanked with Troy. Right here. Do you see it? Oh, it's a little small, isn't it? It's one of the hazards of having these massive, gigantic monitors. There we go. So Wednesdays on the 5th of March, we're almost done, friends. I think there's one more day left. Oh, gosh. And I didn't even talk about... Listen, you get some bonus minutes, because I've got to talk about Fantasy Age February. The tank has really been picking up and across, multiple vectors. Yeah, absolutely. And, you be quiet, David Bullock. Leave this old man to his hyperbole. Before we go, did everyone see the video? Did you see the video that I made? I'm kind of proud of it. It was, very video-y. Because we've got so many things, so many different Fantasy Age elements that are for sale. We've got the 2nd edition spell cards, which people really do enjoy. They're quite nice. I've got a stack of them on my desk right now. If only I had fingers to pick them up and show you. But all of the Arcana, big stack cards. And then you can pick those up print on demand, or you can get them a PDF style, as many people had hoped and dreamed and begged and asked and cajoled, and we did. And then we've got bundles and bundles of things. And to make it easier, what we've done is we've created a little stop, a little place you can go in the store. My Salas, is that it? No, that's something else. But if you go to the link that I'm going to drop in chat here, you'll be able to check out, because there's 1 day left. Maybe we'll extend it a little longer, just because we want people to be able to, enjoy all this. And but it's the Fantasy Age February, and in it. Snap that in there. Whoops. Well, get in there. Look at that. Whole landing page. Fantasy Age February. No, that actually is interesting. Mumamo March. No, it is Madness in Freeport. March Madness in Freeport. Which means all kinds of cool stuff. Really hoping and praying for Modern Age getting a month. Yes, you will get your wish will come true. But only because you asked. Look at this. This PDF mega bundle, it's got 14 PDFs, if I counted right, and if I didn't, it's my fault. That would be $120.05. $120.05. $75. Then you can wrap up all the good stuff that was in first edition and carry it around like a little toolbox, a little toolkit of good stuff for you to help you with your stuff. That's the bundle. Oh yeah. And then the first edition, that's this one. That's 32. I'm sorry, $32.99 was 122 and 40 pennies. Techno Fantasy is on sale, $11.99. Cthulhu Mythos is on sale for the same. We've got Lair of the Horned Giant. That's a newer one, $4.79. Fantasy Age Core Rulebook, second edition PDF, $22.36. But there's a bundle in there. Oh yeah, these two things here. You can pick these two things and you will get a bundle discount. And you get the PDF, and the actual book, which you want because it's great. Speaking of, all the things that the TTRPG industry makes us carry around a big box of books wherever we move. Menace of the Gravy Warrens. That's only $4.79. And then the Return to the Valley of the Whispering Titans. I'm working with the team to see if we can find longer names for books. This is a Fantasy Age journey, Return to the Valley of the Whispering Titans, powered by the Adventure Game Engine. So, that's about a tweet's worth of stuff. Back when there were tweets. Get in there, buy some stuff. Check it out. It is nearly the last day of the month. Squire, see you. You have a good one. So get in here, pick some stuff up, and enjoy, won't you? Because for tomorrow, or the day after tomorrow, really Monday, because tomorrow's Friday, and tomorrow, a couple cool cats that I know are running they're doing a little podcast, and they call it The Sumo Show. And it's it's a show about sumo. They talk about all the things that are going on in the world and the world of sumo. And it's the classic Sumo and the Tachi Troy story. That old trope. You want to check that out. That's at 7 on Friday. Go to Facebook and look for The Sumo Show. I never really pitch my own stuff. I should do that more often. So there's that, and is there other thing that I'm forgetting? If I recall, the only one that got converted was Death in Freeport. For the wonder if more Freeport modules are getting age adaptations. I'll have to look into that tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow. But for tonight, I think we're done. Thank you, friends. Thank you, chat, for hanging out and being a part of this very important a collaborative work effort. All the things that I talked about are things that we're going to make happen, and we can do that together. Swan May, we do have a YouTube page, but it's the Meet Gyoji stories, the old Sumo Meets Gyoji. We do like those Gyoji. Very fancy. Stan and I have a thing. Really, it's me, but Stan humors me, where we look at a Gyoji and what they're wearing and imagine what kind of candy they would be. Riveting sumo content. But we will be back on Monday for Mumamo. There is just one more day left in the month, and then we do the Madness in Freeport, March Madness in Freeport, which I hear is also about some kind of basketball thing, right? So, have a dip in there as well. Again, thank you all. Have a great rest of your week, a wonderful weekend. Come hang out with us on Monday and jump into the tank, atomicthinktank.com, and get involved. There's a lot of fun stuff. The community is chill. There's no drama. And we keep it that way by letting everybody just, be themselves and enjoy. If you want to come in and you want to lurk, you do that. That's fine. Nobody's going to fault you. But I'll bet you'll be compelled to get involved because there's some cool stuff happening. Very, very cool stuff. And more cool stuff to come. You're welcome, friends. Again, head over to atomicthinktank.com. You if you just click on over there now, you will answer 3 very simple questions. And oh yeah, you know what? Let's talk about that, Stan, real quick, just to give you a shout out. I like your cartooning. An improv drawing show starting. Oh, so it's tonight at 6 p.m. Pacific. And then where is that? I read improv, and did I say improve? It's a self-improvement course that Stan runs, all cartoon style. Hey, you're welcome, Stan. Thank you. And Stan, can you drop your? Oh, you can't drop your link. I bet I can. Let me find it. Just so people know. And it's what Stan the Booger Man. No, it's Stan Brown. Not Stan Brownie. YouTube. You know where you'll find him? The real Stan X. And, Stan's also got some other stuff. Stan's such a good guy. He's always, suffering my irreverent behavior over in the sumo land. But he also sits down and talks with people about, that other game. What is it called? D&D. D&D. I think it's pronounced. D&D. Go over and subscribe. Am I not subscribed? What? Look at that. How rude. How rude, Stan. Of me. And give him a follow. Stan's a delight. A GD delight. With a great art style. And this great show here. This is the 50 Years in a Dungeon, where it looks these people just kind of, he flashes books in their faces and said, "Answer me! You can't handle the truth," and a bunch of other stuff. It's really fun. So, friends, that is that. We end on a high note, which is head on over to Stan's YouTube. Give him a follow. And are you sitting on a YouTube, friend? Maybe you're listening on demand. And you're like, oh, man, I want people to know about my YouTube. Let me know. Head on over to the tank. Drop me a note. Maybe you were inspired to think of an event, an idea, or something that you want to see us perpetrate on the community. Tell me all about it in a note. Maybe come hang out with me Wednesday for office hours, and let's do something weird. Goodbye, everyone.